So before we get started in the actual technique, it's important to talk about how the face actually changes as it ages. So as always, reference pictures are at the utmost importance. Again, when you're researching a reference photo for an aging character, it's important to know as many details as possible. For example, is the person you're meant to be aging male or female? If they're, let's say that they're a male, for example, how much are you meant to age them? Are you meant to age them 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? That all plays a very big factor, and it will also be very important to know what their starting age is. So for example, you can think if you're aging if you are meant to age someone from age 5 to age 13, there's not that much that's going to be happening. There's going to be, little things here and there. However, if you're meant to age someone from age 20 to age 50, that's where a lot more work is going to go into play, because there's already a lot that you need to work with, and the face changes dramatically throughout the decades. So having those two factors are your starting point of how old they currently are and how old you are meant to age them to. From there, you can then do your own research, look up images of people without makeup. Just say you're meant to age someone to a 50-year-old man. Just type in, quick Google search, image of a 50-year-old man with no makeup, and look at a general idea. Take notes on what you see the most consistent. Certainly every culture and every background is going to have their own version of aging, so make sure that it's appropriate to the person that you're actually working on. But you'll see general guidelines. You'll see they all start to kind of lose the structure in their face a bit, which is one of the major things that happens as you age, whether you're male, female, whatever you may be. Everyone loses elasticity and collagen and the fat and the actual plumpness to the face and the neck and the hands. That's just a thing of aging. So the face will tend to look more sunken in the more you age. That is why you see sometimes in more mature people, they can tend to look slight skeletal in their appearance, especially if they are fairly thin. That's because the skin is losing all of that plumpness that you have in your youth, and it's actually kind of sinking in a bit more. So aside from sinking in a bit more, that's going to happen in the cheek area, that's going to happen on the under eyes, around the eye area, around the temples of the face, in the neck as well. Even the hands are going to look a little bit more sunken in. You're going to start to develop wrinkles in key areas. You're going to start to develop age spots. And the complete undertone of the skin tends to change quite drastically the more you age. So remember, we talked about the color theory and color wheel and how people have different skin tones and undertones to their face and their body. So even if you have a warm undertone your entire life, as you age, your skin starts to lose some of that. It kind of loses its vibrancy and its luster and a little bit of the warmth to it. The skin tends to go much more cool in tone the older you get. So changing the tone also slightly, it's not meant to be an overly dramatic thing. Old age makeup the techniques can be fairly easy, but to get it to a believable level is actually a fairly difficult technique. So learning it and practicing it as much as possible is huge. So it is easy to go over the top with aging, but remember, subtle is better. So you don't want to paint the person blue, is what I'm saying here. Even though you want to change their skin tone to more of a cool tone, it's just going to be a slight alteration so that they look slightly different from where they currently are. Other factors will play in effect too how you choose your aging makeup, like lifestyle factors. For example, is the person you're meant to be aging, have they been healthy their entire life? Are they of a healthy weight? Are they of an unhealthy weight? Are they, did they have battles with drugs and alcohol? Did they have harsh life conditions that they were living under? All those things will age a person more quickly. So when you're developing a character, say for example, the character is meant to be, the portrait of an image of a drug addict who has been a drug addict for 30 years, and you have to show them in an aged process. That person is going to appear much more aged and much more weathered than someone of the same level of aging, but who did not deal with all those lifestyle battles. So very important, again, as always, to get as much detail as possible and consider the details when you're planning your character out.